Everyone would think that all the greatest thinkers of ancient Greece, would be teachers to many, many students, having their own academy and everything. Except for this guy here, Diogenes, very different from all the rest. He was one of the guys that's known for, for not giving a single care of in the world. While most of philosophers at the time, would be living in houses and teaching at academies, Diogenes was different. He lived in a barrel, he had no possessions for himself, yet he was still one of the brilliant minds of the ages, where people would just come over asking him questions, and he'd give, a bit of a lackluster response. For example, when Alexander the Great, one of the greatest generals of the time, walked over to him and simply said, I am a huge fan of yourself. If you need anything, ask me any favor, I will do it in a blink of an eye. His response was, Buzz off, I want, like, you're blocking the sun. What kind of person would say that? Someone, who has a whole lot of guts, and Diogenes is no short of that stuff. Another perfect example of Diogenes' carelessness was his interaction with Plato. You see, during that time, there is the age-old question of if you could go describe a human in the fewest words possible, what would you say? Well, back then, you didn't have any animals that, resembled the anatomy that humans have, let alone the minds of us. So, Plato described it as a featherless biped. Diogenes' response, however, was to walk into Plato's academy with a chicken with no feathers, throwing it at him and saying, There's your human, have a good day, and just walked off and just did his own thing, because Diogenes would do anything he cared. Like, he could piss, in the crowds, he would just do his business wherever he felt like. That's the type of person he was. Finally, moving on to Diogenes' death, you see, a few stories are circulate, with his whole death. One of them being that, he just got bored and just held his breath and died. Another one was he was bitten by a dog when he was, feeding him an octopus. And the third one was he was eating an octopus and it killed him. But I guess food poisoning or something. And in total, Diogenes' life, with a few little bits that he ended up taking, his will was simply take his body, throw it in nature, and let nature consume it, and consume the few bits that he ever took away from nature. Now that's what I call strange.